Government House and given in honor of Mr. James Griffiths.
That is a huge table.
And if you can see, Mr. James Griffiths is seated next to Lady Gibson, who's the wife of the governor, and opposite the host, Sir Franklin Gibson. And over here would be Mike Gorrie, the private secretary.
So would the seating plan for the Prince of Wales banquet be similar to this?
Well, I can't say for sure, but usually for the formal dinner functions, the long table format is preferred.
I see. So would you know what kind of entertainment is usually provided for this kind of banquets?
Yes, if you look at this invitation, this is an invitation for a dinner to be held at Government House. If you notice, there's a table arrangement here. And your entertainment program on the other side.
Nice.
The entertainment is usually provided by the Singapore Police Band, and sometimes a dance item is thrown in. Usually it's a ballet performance.
Very nice. Do you have any photographs of the banquets in the Government House and how it looks like?
Well, there aren't any photographs in this collection, but we've got a photograph here. This is the ballroom at Government House where most of the banquets were held. So you can see it's very grand.
Tall ceilings. It's beautiful. But before I go, Franz has one more photograph to show me.
This is a photograph of Mike Gorrie enjoying a piece of curry puff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see the guy behind really enjoying the curry puff. It's a perfect photo to end this. Thank you. Even though the Michael Gorrie collection is about 30 years after the Prince of Wales visit, I think it's still a very good reference point for how the Prince of Wales banquet was being held. The whole sitting plan, there's even a couple of music choices that we can play. They're all held in long table formats, and definitely I'll be using it for our banquet. So this is the most grandest table we have ever set in this house before. For the first time ever, we have tablecloth. Also, we follow exactly one of the invitation cards with nice table settings and even the program as well. And for the 1920s touch, feathers. So I'm just going to finish up a little bit of the food, get changed, and get ready to welcome the guests. So this journey is really fun. It's exactly what I wanted to do, which is to see our history through the lens of food. So before this, I never knew anything about colonial cuisine. So I always thought that the colonials ate what they wanted. You know, they just ate their Yorkshire pudding. So that's very interesting for me. So here's the first course, mulligatawny soup. I'm very happy how the food turns out today. I try to keep it as authentic as possible and follow the recipes with the tea. And I think the rendang pasta came out surprisingly well. Good on you, colonials. Definitely going to be looking more at our food history in Singapore because I think there's going to be a lot more to be discovered. Maybe these old dishes can help to inspire new dishes to be added to our Mixed collection. Thank you for coming to the banquet. Cheers! Cheers!
When shadows fall, my thoughts return to memories of you.
The discovery of an old suitcase left behind by his grandfather
None of his children was allowed to touch it.
brings Japanese Singaporean Minoru Kawaguchi on a journey to find out more about his Japanese heritage in Singapore.
Wow, this photo looks very old.
Yeah, quite old.
Will he be able to uncover his family's past?
This is the center of Japanese community before the World War II.
Into the Vault 2, tonight on CNA.
Look forward to brighter skies. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Sponsored by Qatar Airways.
The channel of the year is CNN from Singapore's Mediacorp. We're tracking the top news stories across Asia. Hong Kong disqualifies 4 opposition
Chinese markets leading the game.
They are losing patience.
That's why the protest is here.
I just got sprayed. My entire face is stinging right now.
One of the most diverse places on the planet. Another big question remains.
Biggest loser on Hong Kong's Hang Seng.
Inside, an urban park awaits.
Pummeling Micronesia, firefighting Guam.
This is Asia Now.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 6:30 in New Delhi, 8 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Teresa Tang. At this hour, UN Chief Antonio Guterres urges governments to declare a climate emergency, saying pledges made at the Paris Accords 5 years ago are insufficient or are being ignored.
Let's make the promise of a net zero world a reality now. On the path to COP26, I urge everyone to show ambition, stop the assault on our planet, and do what we need to guarantee the future of our children and grandchildren.
The U.S. moves swiftly to distribute Pfizer-BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine, with shipments to hospitals set to start tomorrow. The CDC has ruled the vaccine is safe for those aged 16 and above, as the FDA says it wasn't pressured to approve the drug for emergency use. Pressure is building in South Korea to review the country's safe distancing measures as new daily COVID-19 infections surge past 1,000 for the first time. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has called on world leaders to declare a climate emergency to spur action to avoid what he called catastrophic global warming. Addressing the Climate Ambition Summit, which falls on the 5th anniversary of the Paris Climate Accords, Mr. Guterres said pledges made in 2015 to limit the rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees Celsius were insufficient and, in some cases, being ignored.
Today we are 1.2 degrees hotter than before the Industrial Revolution. If we don't change course, we may be headed for a catastrophic temperature rise of more than 3 degrees this century. Can anybody still deny that we are facing a dramatic emergency? That is why today I call on all leaders worldwide to declare a state of climate emergency in their countries until carbon neutrality is reached. Some 38 countries have already done so, recognizing the urgency and the stakes. I urge all others to follow.
Some 70 leaders of governments and businesses attended this virtual summit hosted by the UN, France, Britain, Italy, and Chile. The U.S. Trump administration was not represented, having pulled out of the Paris Pact. But in a written statement, President-elect Joe Biden made clear America would rejoin the agreement, noting Washington was key to negotiating the 2015 deal. The meeting aims to build momentum for much steeper cuts in planet-warming emissions and saw leaders reiterate their pledges to do more to combat climate change.
到2030年，中国单位国内生产总值二氧化碳排放将比2005年下降60%。